1,200 metres then for the second event, still at Class 5 level. The second of the Class 5s on the programme. Raichu heads them. He's 0 from 12, but he was fourth in course distance last time out behind Golden Glory. Secret Agent drops back into Class 5. Golden Deer gets the blinkers on. Great Top Leg gets the visor on. Treasure and Gold behind Golden Glory last time out himself. That was in a different race. Victory Duke, course and distance winner 2 starts back, as was Idyllic Winds. We've got Whistle Up with pace from barrier 4 and Rocket Let Win. Matthew Chadwick, they'll jump out of barrier 12.
Well, Young Dreamer's interesting here because he kind of reinvented himself at the back end of last season as a front runner. It all went pretty well. He won he was fourth at one occasion and then sixth subsequently. But it was a good barrier trial that he produced not so long ago either. So I think he's going to go forward. Victory Duke, well, it was feast or famine this season. He hacked up 2 starts ago and then he's a bit disappointing last time up. And Whistle Up was interesting up in trip.
Victory Duke, unacceptable performance from him last start, John. He's gone back to the trials. He's had a soft trial as well for Neil Callan, who will take the ride. He's just been kept ticking along reasonably quietly by Richard Gibson in preparation for this, but he does look well. Was well spec'd when he won. Now, Young Dreamer's just had some light work as well. He's had a couple of trials. Particularly the last one was quite good. He led Alkari and Alkari eventually clawed over him, but he's coming back from a tendon injury to his left front, so he's going to go in very fresh. Be interesting to see what he can find when the whips are cracking with no race fitness on his side.
All right, well, let's start with Victory Duke. Touched on the fact, Brett, that he needs to go back to the trials. He's passed that trial, but this was the win at Happy Valley, the day meeting, and there was a load of money for him, and he pulled it off.
They put a truckload on him, Andrew, and he got a lovely run just in behind the speed. And it looks identical, really, when you looked at that speed map there, John, that he's going to get the same type of run on Wednesday night.
Yeah, but he was 11th subsequently after this performance, and even accounting for the fact that I suppose he may have bounced after this, it was still, I thought, a little bit disappointing. But, yeah, those who invested on this particular occasion collected.
They must have a bit left over to go in again. We will find out. Whistle Up's the next one we're going to have a look at. Finishing third here, Idyllic Wind in the field or in the race as well. This is on the back of his previous win.
Yes, good old Idyllic Wind rarely runs a bad race. Joe Morera will take the ride on him there on Wednesday night. But I tipped Whistle Up in this. I made him the long shot. I thought he'd stay on well, and he did. He almost claimed win for Patrol final stages. Now he goes to the 1,200, which is probably going to see him out a little bit. But the fact that he's got Matthew Poon on and a good barrier and a little claim there for him gives him another opportunity, so he'll be a price. I'll sneak him on top.
Yeah, he looks like one of those horses just taking his time to settle in, but he's beginning to go quite nicely now and back to 1,200. I think he's got a decent chance.
All right, Young Dreamer. Next one we'll have a look at. First up here, and Tony Millard certainly produced a few first up this season. This is the trial leading in. Yeah, well, a bit like Whistle Up, he's improved quite a bit his last couple of starts towards the back end of last season, where he showed much more gate speed, and he showed good gate speed in this particular trial as well. And from stall number 2 on Wednesday evening at Happy Valley, I think he should be able to position up quite well. I just like the upward curve of his form, and yes, he's had that injury problem, but he looks to me as though he's pretty much fully recovered, and I think he'll do himself justice.
I'm interested, Andrew, in him, but I'm just going to leave him out because he's been off the scene for so long. I just wonder, there is a bit of pressure in the race, how much he's going to find in that last sort of 200 to 300. So just happy to sit on the fence. But the racing club will be hoping he runs well.
Yeah, 2 nice horses in front of Alkari. That was remarkable as well. He just quickened past him. But those are the clues then, Brett, coming in for the second of the Class 5s.
Yep, I'm going to stick with Whistle Up. On an each-way basis, I think 1,000 metres is his race, and the 1,200 can stretch him a little bit. But with that claim and another opportunity from a good barrier, I'm happy to suggest he can run a race. So Whistle Up on top. I think Victory Duke gets the same scenario as what he did 2 runs ago when he won. He had excuses last start, unacceptable performance. Trialled well, OK since. Looking at the price of Raichu, he could well be my long shot for the card. I think there's pace in this race and he'll be steaming home late. And the Champ's another one I've got a bit of time for. I'm going to sneak him in 10, 6, 1, 9, but I'm happy to play the QQP 1, 6, 10.
OK, I've got Young Dreamer on top. I think he can confirm the promise of his last couple of starts last season and that barrier trial that we saw. And also the handicap has been a little bit lenient as well. Has dropped him a further 4 ratings points from the back end of last season. Whistle Up in for second for the reasons that Brett mentioned. Gold Talent gets a nice run from gate 1. He hasn't been too far away in his races, and he might be the type of experienced campaigner to make the inside berth count. And Idyllic Wind is much better at 1,000 metres, but he has produced some decent efforts at 1,200, and with a certain Jay Morera aboard, he's going to be one to think about in your exotics. So 7, 10, 11 and 8. The QQP of 7 and 10.